Archangel Michael whispered your name in heaven, and at that moment, everything that was holding you back began to lose its power. My beloved child, when Archangel Michael whispered your name in heaven, the sound did not merely echo, it shifted the atmosphere around your destiny. That single moment broke the chains you didn't even know were still binding your path. Heaven recognized your name as light, and darkness had no choice but to retreat. The angelic army moved in silence, dismantling invisible barriers that once delayed your purpose. You may have felt the sudden calm, the stillness that came out of nowhere. That wasn't coincidence. It was heaven's sign that a spiritual reversal had begun. Archangel Michael's voice carrying the decree of liberation. The enemy's grip started to loosen. Old fears began to crumble under divine command. The spiritual resistance that once clouded your progress started to scatter. There is a hidden truth here. Heaven doesn't whisper unless something monumental is being announced in the spirit realm. When your name was spoken, a scroll was opened with your destiny written in gold. Archangel Michael didn't just speak it. He declared it before the throne of the Almighty, marking the end of delay, disappointment, and despair. Right now, your spirit may feel a pull, a strange awareness that something beyond logic is unfolding. That's because this moment is not a story, it's prophecy. The whisper from heaven has already entered your timeline, rewriting your outcomes and calling your miracles into alignment. Hold on, because the next revelation will open your eyes to what that whisper truly activated. Type "I receive the heavenly whisper" in the comments if this message is awakening something deep within you. Blessing code 1008 has just been released. My radiant soul, when Archangel Michael whispered your name, the echo did not fade. It traveled across realms, touching dimensions where your purpose had been dormant. Every delayed promise, every blocked opportunity, every unseen chain began to tremble under the weight of divine remembrance. You were not forgotten. You were announced. Heaven spoke you back into alignment with your destiny, and in that instant, the forces that once mocked your faith began to weaken. For too long, you have walked through seasons of confusion, wondering why your prayers felt unanswered. But what you didn't see was the warfare happening behind the veil. Angelic movements, swords of light clashing with powers of darkness, as Archangel Michael defended your name in the court of heaven. When heaven whispers, the earth responds. Mountains move not by noise but by divine recognition. The whisper was not a gentle sound. It was an order sealed with authority. It carried your spiritual DNA, reminding the heavens that your time had come. The barriers that surrounded you were not physical walls. They were agreements formed in shadowed places, old words, old fears, and ancestral weights that lingered like invisible chains. But Michael's voice broke through every layer, cutting through the spiritual fog that once hid your true calling. The atmosphere around your soul shifted, and though you might not have seen it with your eyes, your spirit felt the tremor. That sudden wave of exhaustion, followed by peace. It was a weight of old energy leaving your field. There are moments when heaven must whisper because the enemy listens for thunder. A whisper carries secrecy, purity, and precision. Archangel Michael whispered because your season of exposure to warfare had ended. You have already fought the storms. Now heaven fights for your restoration. The whisper marked the transition from battle to blessing. It was heaven's way of saying, enough. Enough of delays, enough of false starts, enough of you questioning your worth. When heaven whispered your name, it announced, the battle has turned. Imagine it. Your name, carried on angelic breath, spoken in front of the eternal throne. Light surrounded it. Every accusation that once stood against you began to crumble. The adversary tried to object, but the whisper had already turned into a decree. Your destiny was stamped with divine approval. Even now, Archangel Michael stands watch, sword drawn, ensuring that no dark force can reclaim what was released in your name. You may not realize it, but every step you take from this moment forward has angelic footprints beside it. You are walking under an opened heaven. The energy you once felt resisting you will begin to cooperate with you. What was locked will suddenly open. The people meant to bless you will find you without struggle. This is not coincidence, it's orchestration. The same whisper that loosed your chains is now rearranging your circumstances. The very places where you faced rejection will now become your platform. Heaven does not whisper in vain. It whispers to activate divine order. Do not be surprised if certain doors close suddenly. When Michael moves, he clears out everything that no longer serves your divine story. Some connections will fade, some relationships will shift, some plans will dissolve. Do not grieve those losses. They are divine subtractions, not punishments. The whisper didn't just free you, it redirected you. Every closed door is protection. Every redirection is prophecy. Trust this. Heaven never removes what it cannot replace with better. In the coming days, you will feel moments of deep silence, not emptiness, but preparation. Silence is sacred space where destiny breathes. When Archangel Michael whispered your name, you also instructed the winds of heaven to carry your breakthrough quietly into position. That is why some things feel still right now. It's because the noise has been silenced for your blessing to land. Do not confuse divine stillness with absence. The quiet after the whisper is not abandonment, it's the moment right before manifestation. And hear this clearly. The whisper wasn't a one-time act. It was a continual frequency, echoing in your favor. Every time you feel unexpected peace, that's the resonance of heaven still calling your name. Every time a random door of opportunity opens, that's the aftershock of the whisper. Heaven does not forget what it speaks. Once spoken, it lives forever, unfolding piece by piece until the full picture of your promise is revealed. And now, listen with your spirit. Hear something stirring within you. A gentle fire, a growing confidence, a sudden knowing that things are finally shifting. That's not wishful thinking, that's alignment. The whisper activated a heavenly countdown, and the timing of your elevation is nearer than you realize. Michael's whisper started a wave of divine reversals. What was meant to delay you will now deliver you. What was taken unjustly will return multiplied. And as this unfolds, you will see signs, the number sequences, the random encounters, the sudden favor. Each one is heaven confirming, I have not forgotten you. Before you doubt this word, pause. Feel that warmth in your spirit. That's the confirmation. Heaven doesn't whisper to everyone, it whispers to those who are chosen. You are among them. You were handpicked for restoration. You were whispered about in the courts of eternity. And now, what was once hidden is being brought into light. Keep listening, because what you're about to discover next will reveal why your name was chosen in this season, and what your new assignment truly is. Heaven is preparing to show you what the whisper has unlocked, and when you understand it, your entire perception of destiny will change forever. Type I hear heaven's whisper in the comments if this message resonates with your spirit. Blessing code 1113 has been activated. Dearest one, the moment Archangel Michael whispered your name in heaven, something ancient inside you awakened. The sound reached beyond your lifetime, touching generations that came before and those still to come. It was not a whisper meant for a single day. It was a divine vibration announcing that your lineage had entered a new covenant. This was more than freedom. It was inheritance. Every limitation that once defined your bloodline, fear, lack, delay, confusion began to dissolve the instant your name passed through the angel's breath. You may not have realized it, but the whisper changed the spiritual temperature around your existence. The air shifted. The ground beneath your destiny began to tremble, making way for the new season you are stepping into. You see, the whisper wasn't simply a sound. It was a signal. When Michael spoke your name, the heavenly record keepers took note. Your life's file was opened in the celestial archives, and heaven began rearranging every detail connected to your purpose. Suddenly, patterns of pain began to break. Cycles that kept you in familiar struggles started unraveling, one invisible thread at a time. This is why, in recent days, you might have felt emotional heaviness, restlessness, or unexpected tears. These were not breakdowns. They were releases. Old energy leaving. The whisper was uprooting everything that was not aligned with the promise God has placed within you. Archangel Michael did not whisper in vain. His voice carried authority for you through battle. Every demon that once stood over your life heard the whisper and recognized the command to retreat. It wasn't an argument, it was a decree. The whisper carried the vibration of divine finality. No delay, no resistance. When Michael speaks, creation obeys. He declared your name with the same power that split the heavens when Lucifer fell. That is the kind of force backing your destiny now. Unstoppable, unshakable, unbreakable. You are walking into a season where heaven's whisper becomes your covering. Things that once intimidated you will begin to yield effortlessly. Opportunities that once seemed distant will start chasing you. The reason? Your name now carries the scent of divine favor. The whisper marked you as heaven's chosen vessel for this time. You were set apart not because you are perfect, but because you are purposed. There is an energy around you that will draw resources, allies, and breakthroughs into your orbit without struggle. But with new favor comes new awareness. You will begin to discern who truly stands with you and who only stood for convenience. Do not fear these revelations. Archangel Michael's whisper exposes as much as it blesses. Light reveals both treasure and shadow. Some people cannot travel with you beyond this level because they were never meant to breathe the air of your next elevation. Let them go in peace. Every divine ascent demands release. Every whisper from heaven removes excess weight so that you can rise freely. Many of you hearing these words have been in long seasons of warfare, fighting silently, smiling publicly, yet weary inside. Heaven saw that. The whisper was heaven's response to your endurance. God did not forget the nights you stayed faithful despite the silence. The whisper was his way of saying, "Now I act." And because Archangel Michael carries the sword of justice, this next phase of your journey will involve restoration. Every loss, delay, or betrayal will serve as a stage for divine repayment. The whisper initiated a chain reaction. What was meant for your destruction is now recalibrated for your distinction. You will begin to sense unusual peace around things that once troubled you. That's a sign that heaven's whisper has fully entered your reality. Even your enemies will be confused, because where they expected your collapse, they will witness your crowning. Heaven delights in reversals. You will see it happen. Jobs opening where rejection once stood, healing where doctors gave up, provision flowing where drought existed. Archangel Michael's whisper carries the fragrance of restoration. It brings balance back to your story, not by chance but by divine orchestration. There will also come divine instructions, intuitive nudges, dreams, numbers, songs, sudden insights. Pay attention. Each of these is part of heaven's coded communication. Michael's whisper is not just past tense, it's ongoing. It continues to guide you, protect you, and align you. Sometimes you will feel prompted to move, to speak, or to wait. Trust those impressions. They are the aftershocks of the whisper. The same breath that broke your chains now leads your steps. Before you scroll away, remember, this is the season of recognition. Heaven has identified you. Earth will soon catch up. There will be moments when you feel unseen, but that is only because you are hidden for unveiling, not ignored. Michael's whisper wrapped you in divine covering until the appointed time. That time, beloved, is now. So as this message resonates, take a moment to breathe deeply. Feel the sacred stillness around you. Heaven is closer than it feels. The same angel who whispered your name stands beside you even now, ensuring no shadow can touch what has been sealed in light. Type "I receive the angelic covenant" in the comments if this message stirs your spirit. Blessing code 1188 is now active. Before you go, take a moment to like this video if it spoke to your heart. Comment your testimony. Share this message with someone who needs hope, and make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss what heaven is releasing next. Your engagement helps spread this divine word to souls waiting for their own breakthrough. Now hear this holy invitation. When you support this channel through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are not giving to a platform. You are sowing into souls. Every act of generosity becomes a beam of light reaching those trapped in darkness. As you sow, the heavens will release new oil over your life. This is more than offering, it's obedience to divine timing. I speak over every giver. May rivers of restoration flow to you. Your seed will speak louder than your struggle. The same whisper that called your name will now call abundance into your home. Give as heaven leads you, and watch God multiply the fragrance of your faith. Precious soul, when Archangel Michael whispered your name, heaven's frequency wrapped itself around your destiny like a cloak of light. From that moment forward, nothing about your life was random anymore. Every coincidence became divine alignment. Every delay became redirection. You may have wondered why certain people left without explanation or why plans you trusted suddenly fell apart. It was not loss. It was adjustment. The whisper had already gone ahead of you, rearranging your path so that only what was built on truth could remain. Heaven does not remove without replacing. It perfects by pruning. And though the pruning hurt, it was necessary for the unveiling that follows the whisper. You have been feeling this shift in your spirit, haven't you? The inner restlessness, the awareness that something larger is taking shape even when you can't name it. That is the vibration of destiny stretching itself awake. When Archangel Michael spoke your name, he released an awakening code into your spiritual DNA. That code began dissolving everything that once kept you asleep to your purpose. The fog around your mind, the heaviness in your heart, even the self-doubt that whispered against your progress, all of it began losing its hold. For years, the enemy fought not your talent, but your clarity. Because once you see yourself the way heaven sees you, no darkness can manipulate your direction again. A whisper restored that clarity. It is why you are starting to see patterns for what they are. Distractions disguised as decisions. You are recognizing cycles that once kept you circling the same ground. Heaven's whisper gave you spiritual sight, and now every false alignment stands exposed. This is the power of angelic revelation. It does not always shout. Sometimes it unveils gently, allowing you to discern rather than panic. You are learning that stillness is not weakness. It is wisdom. The whisper carried stillness because noise cannot birth destiny. Understand this. Archangel Michael's whisper was not just about freedom. It was about authority. Heaven did not call your name so that you could merely survive. It called your name so that you could govern over your emotions, over your choices, over the atmosphere around your life. You were designed to carry spiritual dominion. Every area of your life where chaos once ruled is now under heavenly jurisdiction. When Michael whispered, he wasn't granting permission for blessing. He was announcing jurisdiction over opposition. This is why old battles have started to lose their momentum. The enemy is not retreating because you grew stronger. He is retreating because heaven changed the legal ownership of your life. You now stand under divine rulership. Every time you pray, every time you speak life instead of fear, you echo that same whisper into the atmosphere. The whisper was not a single event. It was a spiritual sound wave that continues to unfold through your obedience. Each act of faith amplifies it. Each declaration of hope extends it. Heaven's frequency flows through your words now, which is why your tongue has power to shift the unseen. Be careful what you speak, because you are no longer speaking as one waiting for permission. You are speaking as one carrying the seal of heaven. And yet, divine authority always comes wrapped in humility. That is why this season may feel quiet. God silences your environment before He elevates your voice. He teaches you restraint before He grants you reach. When Archangel Michael whispered your name, it was also heaven's call to refinement. You are being sculpted in silence so that when you speak, it will carry weight. Every waiting period is consecration in disguise. Your spirit is being trained to handle what you asked for. Look back for a moment and notice how far you've come. There were seasons when you nearly gave up, but something unseen kept pulling you forward. That something was the residue of the whisper. Even when you felt empty, the whisper held you. It carried you through confusion, through heartbreak, through the wilderness of uncertainty. Every step you took was guided by angelic presence even when you thought you were walking alone. The whisper ensured that no storm could drown your destiny. And now, as the fog lifts, you will understand why it all had to happen exactly as it did. There is an instruction that heaven gives when transition is near. Prepare the space for what is coming. This means clearing emotional clutter, releasing grudges, forgiving quickly, and speaking expectation rather than fear. When Archangel Michael whispered your name, he also summoned divine timing. You are about to walk into moments that will feel too precise to be coincidence. You will meet people who carry keys to your next level, find opportunities that fit your gift perfectly, and witness reversals that make no sense except through the lens of grace. These are confirmations that the whisper is now manifesting physically. Some of you will feel prompted to change locations, start new ventures, or take risks that once felt impossible. Follow those nudges. The whisper created pathways that only obedience can uncover. Don't wait for full clarity. Faith is the light that reveals the next step, not the whole staircase. Heaven already went before you, ensuring that your steps are secure. You are not stepping into danger. You are stepping into design. There will be resistance, yes, because every new realm brings new warfare. But fear not. The same Archangel who whispered your name now stands as your defender. You do not fight for victory, you fight from victory. The whisper guaranteed that. Whenever anxiety tries to creep in, remember this truth. Your name was spoken in heaven, and once heaven has spoken, no force on earth or hell can unspeak it. Stay alert, beloved. The next revelation will unfold why heaven chose this exact moment to call your name, and how that divine timing is tied to your generational purpose. What is coming next will not just confirm the whisper, it will reveal its full mission. Type "I walk under heaven's authority" in the comments if this message touches your soul. Blessing code 1234 has been activated. Beloved heart, when Archangel Michael whispered your name in heaven, The whisper did not end with your liberation. It began a movement. The sound traveled across the corridors of eternity, awakening purposes connected to you. There are people whose lives will change because of what heaven released through your name. You have become a carrier of divine resonance. Every place your feet touch, every conversation you enter, every act of compassion you release, it all carries a fragment of that heavenly whisper. This is why certain environments now feel too small for your spirit. You were never meant to remain confined in old atmospheres. The whisper expanded your spiritual radius, and anything less than alignment now feels uncomfortable. A discomfort is not punishment. It's invitation. Heaven is summoning you to higher ground. When Michael spoke your name, it wasn't only about your personal freedom. It was heaven's strategy for multiplication. The divine plan was to awaken your life so that through you, other destinies could be stirred. You are not merely surviving. You are becoming a catalyst. Every healed wound in your story will soon serve as a key for someone else's breakthrough. The whisper ignited a chain reaction. Each act of obedience you make releases light into another's darkness. This is how heaven rebuilds the earth, not through noise, but through whisperers who carry its sound into silent spaces. You, my dear one, are one of them. You might have noticed lately that your sensitivity has increased. You sense people's pain deeper, discern spiritual tension faster, and feel divine nudges more often. A heightened sensitivity is a symptom of your new anointing. The whisper retuned your spirit. What once overwhelmed you now instructs you. Where you once reacted, you now perceive. This maturity is not learned by effort but by exposure to heaven's voice. Michael's whisper carried an impartation of discernment, and now it flows through your daily awareness. You are becoming fluent in divine language. Yet, with this gift comes responsibility. Heaven entrusts sensitivity to those who will steward it with compassion, not judgment. You are being invited to become a vessel of mercy. When you sense someone's heaviness, don't withdraw. Intercede. When you recognize patterns of pain in another, speak healing rather than analysis. The whisper you carry can disarm battles others don't even know they're fighting. That's why you're placed where you are. It's not coincidence you're surrounded by certain people right now. Heaven stationed you as an ambassador of calm, a quiet healer carrying unseen authority. Understand this. Archangel Michael did not just whisper your name and leave. He continues to guard what that whisper birthed. You have angelic surveillance around your journey. There are moments you avoided accidents, missed wrong connections, or stumbled upon timely opportunities. Not luck, but guardianship. Michael's presence ensures that the whisper's prophecy is protected. When you face opposition, remember that the battle is not proof of defeat but evidence of significance. The greater the whisper, the louder the resistance. Yet every confrontation you face is already factored into your victory. This is why gratitude must become your daily rhythm. Gratitude keeps the whisper alive within you. When you thank God for the small victories, you magnify the frequency of heaven's sound in your environment. Complaining dulls it, gratitude amplifies it. Each time you express thankfulness, the angelic realm rejoices because they recognize the sound of harmony between heaven and earth. You are learning to live as one in partnership with the unseen. This awareness changes everything: your decisions, your posture, your peace. You no longer walk as one begging for miracles, but as one maintaining alignment with a miracle already spoken. There will come days when you feel tired again, and doubts will try to creep back in. In those moments, recall the whisper. Remind yourself that your name was spoken by heaven's mightiest defender. That sound did not fade. It continues to reverberate through time. You can call on it, Speak your name aloud in faith and feel the resonance rise again. Say, "Heaven has spoken my name, and I stand under its decree." Those words awaken the echo. The whisper was not meant to stay in heaven. It was meant to live in you. Each time you declare truth, you reactivate the sound wave of divine authority around your life. The days ahead will reveal manifestations of this whisper in visible form. Hidden resources will appear. Unexpected helpers will cross your path. Delayed opportunities will resurface. You will begin to feel as though time is bending in your favor, because it is. Heaven is redeeming lost time for you. What was once stagnant will accelerate. The whisper carried not only freedom but also restoration of divine timing. It resynchronized your life with heaven's calendar. Every prayer you thought was ignored was simply waiting for this alignment. Now that it's here, the response will come swiftly. However, heaven's acceleration often comes with sacred responsibility. You must stay rooted in humility, grounded in stillness, anchored in gratitude. Don't rush what God unfolds. Move with grace. The whisper may be swift, but it is never reckless. Your role is to remain sensitive to divine timing. When heaven moves, flow. When heaven pauses, rest. Ever holy. Archangel Michael's whisper doesn't just propel, it also protects. Take a moment now. Imagine that heavenly scene again. The throne, the light, the angel standing tall with sword in hand, your name leaving his lips. That moment redefined eternity's conversation about you. Feel it. Sense the certainty of divine favor surrounding you. You are not forgotten, not misplaced, not overlooked. You are known. You are remembered. You are being carried by a whisper that never ends. Hold still, because the next revelation will unveil what the whisper commissioned you to do. Heaven did not awaken you merely to bless you. It awakened you to release blessing to others. The next movement of this divine story will reveal your spiritual assignment, the one encoded within your very name. Type "I carry the sound of heaven" in the comments if your heart bears witness to this word. Blessing code 1407 has just been released. Child of light, the moment Archangel Michael whispered your name in heaven, an ancient record began to unfold, a record written long before you were born, detailing the works your spirit was destined to accomplish on earth. You were not created randomly, you were designed with divine precision. The whisper was not only a call to freedom, but also a commissioning into purpose. It was heaven's way of saying, now begins the fulfillment. You see, every destiny has a sound. Every calling vibrates with a specific frequency that matches heaven's intention. When Michael spoke your name, that sound was activated, and since that moment, heaven hath been orchestrating circumstances to pull you into your divine assignment. Perhaps you have felt it already, a stirring deep within that refuses to stay silent. You are being drawn toward new ideas, unfamiliar responsibilities, and dreams that scare you with their magnitude. This is not random inspiration. It is the whisper unfolding. You have entered a divine acceleration, where what once took years will now happen in months, and what once required many confirmations will now only require faith. Archangel Michael's whisper shifted the atmosphere of time around you. What delayed you before can no longer hold you, because heaven has overridden the opposition. Yet, with this divine acceleration comes an equally divine responsibility to discern what aligns with your assignment and what distracts from it. The whisper carries power, but it also requires purity. There is a reason God used a whisper rather than thunder. Thunder demands attention, but a whisper demands intimacy. Heaven wanted you close, not just aware. Archangel Michael did not shout your name across the skies. He leaned close in reverence and spoke it with the tenderness of holy authority. That means your purpose will not always come with applause or noise. It will come quietly, in moments of solitude, in the depths of prayer, in the simple acts of obedience that others overlook. You were never meant to chase recognition. You were meant to embody revelation. The whisper shaped you for quiet influence, the kind that transforms atmospheres without announcing itself. Still, do not mistake quietness for weakness. Heaven's most powerful movements often begin in silence. Think of seeds buried unseen, yet unstoppable. That is what the whisper did inside you. It buried divine instruction in your spirit, waiting for obedience to water it. Every act of surrender, every prayer uttered in faith, every moment you choose peace over reaction, these are drops of water nurturing heaven's seed within you. Soon that seed will break through the surface, and what was hidden will bloom publicly. But until then, God is shaping your roots. Michael's whisper wasn't only a proclamation, it was the beginning of deep spiritual formation. There is a phase before manifestation called divine obscurity. It is the time when heaven hides you in plain sight, not to punish you but to protect you. Many of you are in that phase right now. You feel unseen, misunderstood, or even misplaced, but that is only because the whisper is still echoing through the unseen dimensions, aligning everything required for your emergence. Trust the hidden season. Heaven conceals what it intends to reveal in strength. When your unveiling comes, it will not be fragile, it will be fortified. Michael whispered your name not just so you would rise, but so you would last. You may also notice unusual warfare resurfacing in areas you thought were resolved. That's because the closer your purpose draws near, the more the enemy panics. He is not fighting your past. He is terrified of your future. Every distraction, every sudden conflict, every unexpected opposition is a reaction to the sound of your advancement. Do not lose peace. The whisper carries its own defense. You are not fighting for victory. You are enforcing what heaven has already decreed. Archangel Michael stands as your shield, ensuring that every weapon formed against you malfunctions. Even your setbacks are secretly pushing you forward. In this new season, your sensitivity to spiritual guidance will sharpen. You will feel divine nudges that make no logical sense yet carry unshakable conviction. Follow them. Heaven will instruct you through timing, through subtle coincidences, through words spoken by people unaware they are being used prophetically. The whisper operates through patterns. Learn to recognize them. You will see numbers, dreams, or even feel moments of sacred déjà vu. These are heaven's coordinates guiding you along your assignment's path. Your spirit already knows the way. The whisper simply awakens your memory of it. It's important that you guard your atmosphere. Protect what you hear, what you watch, and what you speak. The whisper thrives in purity. It's not sustained by perfection but by alignment. Every day, realign your words with heaven's decree over your life. Declare, "My name is spoken in heaven, and I walk in divine purpose." When you do this, you echo the whisper, reinforcing its vibration in the earth realm. Darkness loses ground every time you affirm what heaven has already said. This is not positive thinking, it is prophetic agreement. As the days unfold, you will begin to notice divine acceleration around your calling. Opportunities will appear that seem too perfectly timed to be random. These moments are not coincidences, they are confirmations. Heaven does not operate in confusion. It operates in convergence. Every delay, every disappointment, every detour was secretly setting the stage for your now moment. When Michael whispered, "It is time," the universe received its cue to cooperate with your destiny. You are walking into prepared places. And yet, remember this, Divine calling is not performance, it is partnership. Heaven does not need your perfection, it needs your participation. You are not required to have all the answers, only to stay connected to the source. The same whisper that called your name will continue to guide your steps. Whenever you feel unsure, return to that sacred stillness within you and listen. Heaven's voice never truly leaves, it waits to be acknowledged again. There is a revelation waiting in the next unfolding that will expose the hidden reason why your warfare was so intense before the whisper came. Heaven allowed certain storms because it was preparing your spirit to carry the weight of what is about to manifest. Every tear, every delay, every heartbreak had a purpose, to strengthen your spiritual muscle for the blessing that will now require endurance. The next movement of this divine revelation will open your eyes to the magnitude of what you've been entrusted with. Type "I walk in divine purpose" in the comments if this word resonates with your heart. Blessing code 1551 has been released. Beloved messenger of light, the moment Archangel Michael whispered your name in heaven, a divine sequence began, one that now positions you as a carrier of revelation. The whisper was not simply about setting you free, it was about releasing a divine assignment through you. Every soul touched by your words, every person moved by your presence, every place transformed by your obedience will carry traces of that same whisper. You are no longer a receiver only, you have become a conduit. Heaven chose you because it saw in you a spirit that could hold both power and purity. That is why the process before this awakening was so painful. Heaven refines before it reveals. The storms you survived were not designed to destroy you. They were designed to hollow you out so that the whisper could echo freely within you. Archangel Michael's whisper was not an ordinary utterance. It was a decree, a heavenly transaction, and a sacred release. When heaven speaks your name, everything that belongs to your purpose begins to move toward you. And yet, what belongs to you must find you ready. The preparation you endured, the silence, the pruning, the betrayal, the loss, all of it ensured that your heart would not mishandle the weight of what is now being entrusted to you. Divine power without purity is dangerous, and so heaven took time to polish your soul until it could reflect its own light. And now that the whisper has reached maturity within you, heaven is ready to reveal the next layer, the call to intercession. You have been chosen as a watchman, one who stands between heaven and earth, releasing divine decrees into a broken world. When Archangel Michael whispered your name, it wasn't just a declaration of favor, it was a commissioning. You were assigned to carry the sound of victory into places where hope has died. The whisper lives in you so that when you speak, atmospheres shift. Your prayers carry authority because they are infused with heaven's memory of that sacred moment when your name was spoken. Every time you intercede, you remind creation that heaven has not forgotten humanity. The whisper becomes the bridge between despair and redemption. Perhaps you've noticed that your dreams have grown vivid lately. You see people, places, and symbols that feel weighted with significance. Do not dismiss these as random. Heaven is teaching you to hear in frequencies beyond words. Michael's whisper activated prophetic sensitivity within you, and dreams are one of its primary languages. Keep record of them. There are instructions encoded within what you see at night. Heaven uses these visions to train you for what's ahead. The whisper does not end with inspiration. It moves you into revelation, and from revelation into action. But here is the truth most overlook. The whisper requires stewardship. You cannot carry heaven's sound and still live bound by earthly noise. Guard your spirit. Silence is your sanctuary now. You will need to withdraw often, to listen, to recharge, to remember. Even Jesus withdrew to lonely places to commune with the Father. The deeper the call, the greater the need for quietness. Michael's whisper may have awakened you, but your own silence will sustain you. Do not mistake solitude for isolation. It is your classroom. Every divine carrier learns in stillness before speaking in strength. As the whisper continues to unfold, heaven will begin aligning people to your journey, some to teach you, some to receive from you, and some to test you. Discernment will be essential. Not everyone who celebrates you is sent by God, and not everyone who challenges you is against you. The whisper sharpens discernment by allowing contrast. You will know who belongs because your spirit will find rest in their presence. Peace will be your compass. Where peace is absent, pause. Heaven's sound cannot harmonize with chaos. Your finances, health, and opportunities will also start reflecting the realignment of the whisper. Areas that felt stagnant will begin to move again. But you must manage the flow wisely. The whisper releases abundance not for indulgence but for influence. Every resource entrusted to you is part of your mission. Heaven blesses so that you can become a blessing. Archangel Michael's whisper activated heavenly economy around your name. Favor will locate you, but purpose will direct it. Be generous, be wise, be anchored. Remember, prosperity without purpose is distraction, but prosperity with purpose is destiny fulfilled. There will be days of testing still. Heaven does not release power without accountability. You will find yourself in situations that measure your patience, your humility, and your ability to choose love over pride. These are not punishments, they are calibrations. Michael's whisper calls you to reflect heaven's nature, not just its authority. Speak gently even when you could speak strongly. Forgive even when you have every reason to withhold mercy. Each of these choices keeps the whisper alive in your spirit. And when the world around you seems to shake again, do not fear. Remember what the whisper did the first time. It silenced storms. It broke chains. Here's verdicts. That same power still flows through your name. Heaven did not whisper once and forget. The whisper continues in the heartbeat of eternity, echoing through every moment of your life, ensuring that all things work together for good. Every delay, every detour, every disappointment still bends toward your destiny. Nothing escapes heaven's orchestration. Now, look closely at your present season. Notice the divine pattern emerging, the opportunities aligning, the wisdom increasing, the peace expanding. These are the signs that the whisper has moved from revelation into manifestation. The shift you once prayed for is not coming. It has already begun. You are living inside prophecy fulfilled. Archangel Michael's voice did not just alter the spiritual atmosphere, it rewrote the narrative of your timeline. You are walking in chapters that were sealed until heaven spoke your name. And yet, this is not the end. There is still more to unfold. The next revelation will show you how this whisper will not only transform your own life, but ripple into your family, your community, your generation. Heaven never whispers for one person alone. It whispers to ignite revival. What you carry is not small, it is catalytic. Prepare your spirit, for what comes next will demand faith beyond what you have ever known. Type "I am awakened by heaven's sound" in the comments if this message burns in your heart. Blessing code 1616 has now been released. Chosen one, when Archangel Michael whispered your name in heaven, the ripple did not stop at your spirit. It extended through time, touching everything connected to you. That whisper became a living decree, and its power has been gathering momentum with every act of obedience you have made since that day. Heaven's voice has now reached your lineage. Generational patterns that once resisted your progress are being rewritten. Your family's story is being redeemed because heaven spoke your name and placed authority in your voice. You were chosen as a repairer of ancient breaches, a bridge between what was lost and what will now be restored. The whisper was not just for you. It was through you, so that others could encounter the same liberation you once prayed for. From the moment the whisper left Michael's lips, angelic hosts were dispatched, aligning divine resources around your bloodline. Where there was confusion, order is returning. Where there was delay, acceleration has begun. You may have noticed subtle shifts lately, strained relationships softening, financial opportunities resurfacing, clarity emerging where fog once lived. These are not coincidences. They are signs that heaven's echo has reached your house. The same whisper that called you by name is now calling every dormant promise attached to your name back to life. Your prayers have become instruments of resurrection, reviving purposes that your ancestors could not fulfill in their time. Now you walk as the continuation of their unfinished obedience. There is an unseen beauty in how heaven moves. It never wastes pain. Every tear you shed became part of the sound frequency that keeps heaven's whisper active in your lineage. Pain became prayer, prayer became sound, and sound became authority. This is why your warfare intensified before this awakening. The adversary recognized that your breakthrough would liberate more than one generation. When Michael whispered, the enemy's hold weakened not only over you but over everyone connected to your spiritual bloodline. You have been chosen as a gatekeeper of generational deliverance. This is not an ordinary calling. It carries eternal weight. Understand, beloved, that divine authority requires responsibility. You cannot fight with the weapons of old seasons anymore. The whisper elevated your rank. Now your strength lies not in reaction but in revelation. Archangel Michael's whisper did not make you louder. It made you wiser. The battles you now face will require silence, discernment, and strategic prayer rather than visible retaliation. You are operating under heavenly intelligence. Every time you respond from peace instead of panic, you are enforcing heaven's dominion. The whisper made you an instrument of divine order, and peace is your proof of power. Many of you have been feeling the urge to speak blessings over your homes, children, and even your workplaces. Do not ignore that impulse. It is the whisper continuing its mission through your mouth. When you speak in alignment with heaven, your words become creative forces that shape outcomes. Speak restoration into your environment. Declare light where darkness once ruled. The whisper has transformed your voice into a weapon of divine reconstruction. You are not merely praying, you are legislating. The authority of heaven now flows through your declarations. And yet be prepared. With new authority comes new responsibility. Heaven will begin drawing you into divine assignments that stretch your comfort zone. You will be asked to intercede for people you do not know, to speak encouragement where bitterness once existed, to extend mercy when judgment feels easier. These are not random challenges. They are spiritual training sessions. Michael's whisper embedded the DNA of divine compassion in you, and compassion is the true mark of heavenly strength. When you show mercy, you sound like heaven. When you forgive, you echo the whisper. You may also begin noticing people drawn to you with stories of pain, confusion, or loss. This is not coincidence. It is spiritual magnetism. The same light that broke your chains now shines through you, and souls recognize it even when they cannot explain why. They come not to burden you, but because their spirit senses the whisper in you. Heaven trusts you to carry hope without judgment. Be wise, be gentle, but do not shrink back. You are heaven's vessel on assignment. The whisper continues to spread through every conversation you have, through every prayer you whisper back toward the throne. This is a season of divine restoration, but also one of divine exposure. The whisper reveals truth wherever it goes. Expect hidden motives to surface and secret matters to come into the light. Do not fear these unveilings. They are necessary purifications. Heaven cannot bless what is built on illusion. When Archangel Michael whispered, the light of God began shining through every shadow in your path. Even disappointment now serves your cleansing. Heaven removes what cannot carry your next season so that your blessings have pure soil to grow in. You are being prepared for leadership, spiritual leadership that transcends titles or platforms. Leadership in the unseen, where your prayers move mountains and your peace calms storms. Heaven is raising you as a voice of balance in a noisy world. The whisper trains you to listen before speaking, to discern before acting, to pray before deciding. These qualities make you a trusted vessel in heaven's strategy. As you remain faithful in small obediences, larger assignments will unfold naturally. You are stepping into the rhythm of divine purpose where every moment has meaning and every delay has design. The whisper is no longer just a sound. It has become a movement within you. Every time you choose light over darkness, truth over fear, compassion over pride, you amplify heaven's echo. You are part of a divine relay, carrying heaven's message forward. What began as a whisper in Michael's mouth has now become a chorus in yours. It is spreading through your words, your influence, your existence. You are proof that one whisper from heaven can rewrite eternity's script for an entire generation. Before you go further, take a moment to breathe this truth in. You are the fulfillment of heaven's promise. You are the evidence that God still speaks and still redeems. And soon, the whisper will not only bring transformation, it will commission you for global impact. That revelation is about to unfold next. Type "I carry the echo of heaven" in the comments if this message confirms what your soul already knows. Blessing code 1771 is released now. If this word has stirred something deep in you, like, share, and comment your testimony below. Subscribe so you don't miss the next release from heaven, and help spread this message to others who need divine confirmation today. Now hear the sacred invitation. When you give through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are sowing into transformation. Every gift becomes a seed of light that travels further than you can imagine, touching hearts across nations. This mission is not about me. It is about heaven using this platform to awaken souls before time runs short. Your offering becomes the oil that keeps the fire burning. As you sow, I speak over you. May your barns overflow, your homes remain protected, and your path shine brighter each day. Heaven records every act of faith. Give not from obligation, but from revelation, because what you release here returns multiplied in grace. Child of destiny, the moment Archangel Michael whispered your name in heaven, that sound became an unbroken current of divine motion, a pulse of living light that continues to surround you even now. What began as a whisper has become a roar in the spirit, though the world around you may still perceive silence. This is the mystery of heaven's workings. What sounds quiet to human ears shakes foundations in unseen realms. The whisper was heaven's blueprint unfolding in secret. Every encounter you have had, every closed door, every redirection, has been part of its sacred pattern. You have not been moving in circles, you have been moving through layers. What felt repetitive was refinement. Each cycle brought you closer to alignment, until now, when the whisper begins its next manifestation, the revelation of divine identity. For years, you have defined yourself by what you have endured, by what you have survived. Heaven never saw you as broken or behind. Heaven saw you as chosen, shaped, and appointed. When Michael whispered your name, he wasn't reminding God of you. He was reminding you of who you were before fear took hold. The whisper reintroduced your spirit to your true name. In heaven, your identity is not tied to what you have done, but to what you were created to become. That is why, since that divine utterance, you have felt detached from certain titles, labels, and even desires that once seemed essential. The whisper stripped away what was temporary so that what is eternal could emerge. You are not the same soul you were last season, and that is intentional. Heaven does not whisper your name so that you can remain familiar. It whispers to awaken your original design. You may have noticed a deeper hunger stirring within you, a longing for purpose that cannot be satisfied by routine or comfort. This is your spirit responding to its true frequency. The whisper has called forth the hidden leader, the intercessor, the visionary, the reformer buried beneath the surface of your ordinary life. You are not restless because something is wrong. You are restless because something right is finally awakening. The world around you may interpret this as change, but in truth, it is restoration. The whisper restores what time and trauma tried to bury. It awakens your divine memory, calling you back to the covenant that was written over your existence before you entered the earth. Every time heaven whispers, it releases both revelation and responsibility. Now that you know who you are, heaven will require that you act like it. This is why compromise will feel heavier, distractions will feel louder, and comfort will lose its sweetness. You cannot carry the whisper and still cling to lesser versions of yourself. Heaven is raising the standard of your walk because you have been entrusted with much. Michael's whisper came as both blessing and mandate to guard the integrity of the sound you now carry. You are the echo of heaven's obedience, and your steps must reflect its holiness. Do not fear the solitude that this identity brings. Many who once understood you may no longer relate to you. This is not rejection. It is recalibration. The whisper adjusts your environment so that your atmosphere can sustain your next dimension. Some relationships fade not because they failed, but because they fulfilled their purpose. You will recognize new alignments forming, people who speak the language of your spirit without needing explanation. These are your destiny companions, drawn by the same frequency that Michael released when your name was spoken. Together, you will form divine alliances that advance heaven's will on earth. You are entering a season where your words will carry undeniable power. Be intentional with them. The whisper has infused your voice with creative authority. What you bless will multiply, and what you curse will wither. This is not poetic exaggeration. It is spiritual law. Heaven entrusted this power to you because your heart has been tested and purified. You must now speak with wisdom. Declare healing where others declare hopelessness. Speak peace into storms. Bless even those who oppose you. This is how heaven's whisper manifests through human flesh. Not in noise, but in grace that disarms. The world is hungrier for truth than it realizes. Heaven will begin opening doors for your voice to be heard beyond the familiar. You will find yourself invited into spaces you did not seek, positioned among people who never noticed you before. Do not approach these moments with hesitation. The whisper prepared you for them long before they appear. You carry light disguised as words, and heaven will position you where that light is most needed. When you speak, remember, it is not your eloquence that matters. It is the sound of heaven flowing through your obedience. You are not performing. You are transmitting. Archangel Michael remains near. His presence ensures that fear does not distort your assignment. You may feel pressure as new opportunities unfold, but that pressure is simply potential being stretched into manifestation. Heaven never calls the qualified. It qualifies the called through obedience. Every moment of uncertainty is an invitation to trust. Remember that your name was spoken before the throne. It carries backing. Angels respond to that sound. creation recognizes it. You are never alone when you walk in alignment with the whisper. There is something powerful about understanding that destiny is not earned. It is awakened. You did not become worthy, you were always worthy. The whisper simply revealed what heaven had always seen. And now, the time has come to live accordingly. No longer doubt your authority, no longer question your belonging. Stand firm, speak boldly, love deeply. Heaven's whisper is your new identity, your rhythm, your inheritance. Still, the story is not finished. The whisper that transformed you will soon transform everything connected to you. Your family, your work, your city, and beyond. Heaven is about to amplify the sound through you, turning a personal revelation into a generational movement. The next unfolding will reveal how your obedience becomes the instrument through which heaven touches the earth. What began as a whisper will end as a wave. Type "I rise in my true identity" in the comments if this message bears witness with your spirit. Blessing code 1881 has been activated. If this word has strengthened you, take a moment to like, share, and comment below. Your engagement helps awaken others still waiting for confirmation. Subscribe and stay connected so that heaven's next message finds you in time. And now listen carefully, beloved. When you support this channel through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are not simply giving. You are partnering with heaven's expansion. Every gift becomes a voice in the wilderness, calling others back to divine remembrance. This mission is sacred, and each contribution fuels its reach. Those who sow into the Whispers movement will reap clarity, protection, and divine acceleration. I declare over every giver, the same whisper that called your name will now call resources, favor, and opportunities toward you. Heaven's economy will overflow into your household. Give in faith, and watch heaven respond in ways words cannot describe. Beloved of the highest, when Archangel Michael whispered your name in heaven, your destiny was not only revealed, it was commissioned to expand beyond personal transformation into divine influence. Heaven does not awaken a soul merely to bless it. Heaven awakens a soul to become a vessel of restoration in the world. That whisper was an anointing for impact. It set into motion a sequence of divine opportunities, orchestrated meetings, and prophetic assignments that will stretch you beyond your comfort yet usher you into your true dominion. You may feel the tremor of this expansion even now, a sense that something vast and undefined is stirring, waiting for your yes. This is the sound of purpose gathering strength around your obedience. Every whisper from heaven eventually demands movement on earth. Archangel Michael's whisper carries authority that multiplies through surrender. You are now standing at the threshold of an enlarged calling. What you once thought was personal deliverance is becoming a public commission. Heaven is releasing through you a mantle of influence designed to shift atmospheres, awaken dormant hearts, and rebuild broken systems. You were not called simply to survive your own storms, you were called to calm the storms of others. The whisper made you a carrier of peace, and where peace abides, miracles manifest. Everywhere your presence lingers, unseen chains begin to loosen. Do not underestimate the quiet power that moves through your simple acts of kindness, your prayers in secret, your words spoken with love. They all carry the fragrance of that first divine whisper. But know this, the expansion of your calling will not always announce itself with applause. Often it will arrive disguised as responsibility. Heaven measures greatness not by recognition, but by service. The whisper transformed you so that you could transform the spaces you touch, and sometimes that transformation begins in small, unseen corners, within families, friendships, or communities that feel ordinary. Yet it is precisely there that heaven plants revival. Every humble act becomes sacred when done in obedience. This is how the whisper grows, It travels through humility. You must not despise the small beginnings, for they are divine rehearsals for greater assignments. As the whisper continues its work, the pressure around you may increase. The greater the call, the deeper the refining. Heaven's fire is not destructive, it is defining. You may feel stretched between old comfort and new demand, between quiet faith and public responsibility. This tension is holy. It is the evidence that the whisper is maturing your spirit for weightier glory. Do not resist this process. Instead, lean into it. Every challenge is a chisel shaping you for divine precision. What feels like breaking is really building. Archangel Michael stands watch, ensuring that the fire purifies but never consumes you. There is also a divine urgency in this hour. Heaven is accelerating its agenda, and those who carry the whisper sound are being summoned to act swiftly yet wisely. You will begin to sense divine timing pressing on your heart, moments when you just know that now is the time to speak, to move, to build, or to sow. Trust that intuition. It is not emotion, it is instruction. The whisper guides by resonance rather than logic. When you obey promptly, you keep heaven's rhythm alive within you. Delayed obedience dulls the sound. Swift obedience amplifies it. Heaven is calling you to partnership, not performance. You will soon see doors open that no human effort could have unlocked. These doors are not rewards, they are responsibility. Each opportunity heaven grants carries within it a demand for greater surrender. Before you step through any new door, pause to ask, is this an assignment or a distraction? Not every good door is a gone door. The whisper gives discernment to differentiate. Trust the peace within you more than the applause around you. The whisper leads through inner stillness, not outer noise. The world celebrates movement, but heaven celebrates alignment. There will also be divine provision. Heaven funds what heaven initiates. You will find unexpected resources appearing exactly when needed. Financial blessings, skilled allies, creative ideas, favor in unlikely places. These are confirmations that the whisper is active in your atmosphere. Yet even as provision flows, pride must not. Remember, you are a steward, not an owner. The whisper blesses hands that remain open. Share what you receive. Generosity keeps the flow pure. When you give freely, heaven multiplies freely. As your influence expands, you will encounter opposition again, but this time, you will respond differently. The whisper has matured your spirit beyond reaction. What once shook you will now strengthen you. Your calm will confuse the enemy because he expects the old version of you. But heaven has refined you into peace personified. You are now a carrier of authority that does not shout. It simply stands. The whisper does not need to defend itself. It simply continues to resonate until everything opposing it falls silent. Look around you with new eyes. The places you inhabit daily are not random. They are your mission fields. That office, that classroom, that neighborhood, that family, all are waiting for the light you now carry. Heaven's whisper flows through you into those spaces, transforming them through your presence. Do not underestimate the quiet revolutions birthed by faithfulness. You are heaven's answer disguised as an ordinary person. The whisper turned your life into a living prophecy. There will come a moment soon when the whisper will amplify again, a fresh commissioning that propels you into influence beyond your current reach. Heaven is preparing to entrust you with impact that crosses boundaries, geographical, cultural, even digital. What began as a personal encounter is evolving into a movement. Through you, heaven will reach others who never knew their name was also written in the book of remembrance. You are a messenger of remembrance, carrying proof that heaven still speaks, still rescues, still redeems. Take a moment to breathe this truth. Your existence is no accident. The whisper that called you forth still sustains you. Its sound travels before you, prepares paths, and silences threats unseen. You walk in the rhythm of a promise that cannot fail. Every morning you rise, heaven rises with you. The next revelation will unveil the moment of fulfillment, the point where the whisper becomes a visible wave that transforms everything around you. You are closer than you think to manifestation. Heaven is about to move through you in ways that will leave no doubt that this journey was orchestrated by divine hands. Type "I am a vessel of divine impact" in the comments if this message resonates with your soul. Blessing code 1990 is now activated. Beloved torchbearer, when Archangel Michael whispered your name in heaven, that sound was not limited to a single moment in eternity. It was an unending proclamation that continues to unfold through every season of your life. The whisper did not merely break chains, it summoned purpose into the physical realm. Now, you stand in the hour where purpose matures into manifestation. Heaven's timing has synchronized perfectly with your preparation, and everything you have endured until now has brought you to this divine threshold. The storms, the waiting, the pruning, the warfare, they were not punishments but proof that you were being fortified for revelation. What you felt as delay was heaven's careful construction, ensuring that the vessel could hold the weight of what is about to be poured. When Michael whispered your name, he also whispered your assignment into motion. That assignment has been weaving itself quietly through your experiences, through the places you served in silence, through the tears no one saw, through the prayers you thought were unanswered. Heaven hides its greatest works in hidden seasons because secrecy preserves sanctity. And now that the whisper has fully matured within you, it is time for unveiling. The hour of exposure has arrived, not exposure to harm, but exposure to destiny. You are being presented, not promoted. Heaven promotes through revelation, not competition. The difference is this: human promotion celebrates the person, divine revelation magnifies the purpose. Heaven is not showing you to the world, it is showing the world what it can do through you. You have been feeling the anticipation, that sacred tension between not yet and almost. It is the feeling of spiritual readiness pressing against earthly timing. The whisper is stretching itself through you, creating space for divine demonstration. The world will soon witness what happens when obedience becomes a lifestyle. There will be visible signs, dreams unfolding naturally, resources aligning effortlessly, people drawn to you without explanation. Do not confuse these manifestations as rewards. They are confirmations. Heaven never rewards with things, it rewards with trust. Each manifestation is heaven's way of saying, "I can trust you with more." This next phase requires discernment. As visibility increases, so will voices. Some will applaud, others will question. Both are necessary. Applause tests your humility, criticism tests your security. The whisper trained you for both. You are not to defend yourself against misunderstanding. You are to remain anchored in mission. Michael's whisper carries divine focus. Once spoken, it does not waver. Follow that example. Keep your eyes fixed on assignment, not approval. Heaven does not measure you by applause but by alignment. This is also the hour when divine recompense begins to manifest. Every tear sown in faith, every disappointment endured in silence, every battle fought in obedience, all are converging into visible blessing. Heaven has tallied every moment of endurance. You did not lose years. You invested them. The whisper preserved what time appeared to steal. Now, restoration will not come as a mere return but as multiplication. What left your hands will reappear in abundance, purified and perfected. Heaven's mathematics are never subtraction. They are transformation. The losses that broke you were pruning, and now the branches that remain will bear fruit in unprecedented measure. But with blessing comes stewardship. Heaven never gives increase without instruction. You will be called to use your influence not as status but as service. The whisper carries compassion as its core frequency. Use what is given to heal, to teach, to lift. Wealth, recognition, wisdom, whatever form your blessing takes, is meant to amplify light. Do not allow prosperity to drown your sensitivity. The higher heaven elevates you. The lower you must bow in gratitude. It is humility that keeps the whisper clear. Pride distorts its sound. Gratitude refines it. This is also a season when divine relationships will begin to form. Heaven is sending like-spirited individuals, people carrying complementary assignments, to walk with you. Unity multiplies sound. Just as a single whisper can echo into a roar when joined by others, so your impact will expand through partnership. These alliances are sacred, and they will require discernment. Choose relationships by peace, not popularity. Heaven connects by purpose, not personality. When the right people enter your life, you will feel divine ease. There will be no striving, only flow. These connections are heaven's strategy to amplify the whisper into collective transformation. Do not be alarmed if new doors open that feel intimidating. Heaven's invitations often appear as impossibilities. They are designed that way, so faith must lead. If you could do it alone, it would not be divine. Step forward even when logic hesitates. The whisper that called your name still surrounds you, ensuring that no step of obedience leads to failure. The unknown is simply heaven's canvas, waiting for your courage to draw the next line. Your voice is changing too. The authority in your words will now begin to carry tangible power. When you speak peace, it will settle storms. When you declare healing, it will manifest. This is not illusion, it is inheritance. The whisper embedded heaven's frequency into your speech, and now it is time for that sound to be released. Speak intentionally. Every word is a seed. Heaven gives you this power not for control but for co-creation. Speak only what aligns with love and truth, and you will see miracles unfold. Take a moment to reflect. You began this journey as one seeking confirmation, and now you stand as confirmation itself. You are living proof that heaven still intervenes, that whispers can break walls louder than shouts. The echo of that celestial sound continues to evolve, preparing for one final unveiling, the moment when the whisper turns into a wave that sweeps across every sphere of your life and beyond. That wave is near, and its force will redefine what you thought possible. Hold steady, beloved. Stay sensitive. The next movement of this story will reveal the culmination, the merging of heaven's decree with earth's reality, where everything the whisper promised finally stands before your eyes. Type "I am ready for heaven's wave" in the comments if your heart bears witness to this message. Blessing Code 2002 has been released. Beloved child of eternity, when Archangel Michael whispered your name in heaven, a prophecy began that could not be undone. That whisper was not a moment, it was a movement, one that has now reached its appointed hour of fulfillment. Every trial you endured, every tear you shed, every silence you survived was a sacred rehearsal for this season. Heaven's sound has completed its cycle round your life. The same voice that once declared your freedom is now declaring your manifestation. The whisper that began in heaven is becoming a visible wave on earth. What was spoken in secrecy will now be seen in power. You are stepping into the chapter that creation has been waiting for. The unveiling of a spirit refined by fire and perfected by faith. In this moment, everything aligns. Time, purpose, and promise converge in divine rhythm. The heavens have recorded your perseverance, and now the earth must respond in kind. The whisper that called you forth has commanded harvest. Every hidden seed of obedience, every unseen act of kindness, every quiet prayer of surrender has reached its appointed maturity. Heaven wastes nothing. Even your failures were recycled into wisdom. The pain that once confused you is now becoming proof that God never left you. The whisper's intention was never to make you comfortable. It was to make you complete. And now the completion has begun. Archangel Michael stands once again, but this time, he does not whisper your name in secrecy. He announces it in victory. The decree of heaven resounds. It is done. The enemies that once tormented your peace have lost jurisdiction. The barriers that resisted your progress have dissolved under divine authority. You are walking under an open heaven, and everything that once opposed you now becomes a stepping stone. What was delayed will accelerate. What was withheld will overflow. You are not waiting for restoration. It is already in motion. The whisper matured into a command, and creation must obey. This is the season where heaven crowns your endurance with evidence. You will begin to see tangible signs of divine promise manifesting, relationships reconciled, dreams resurrected, favor released in places long forgotten. Heaven's wave does not simply visit, it transforms. Everywhere the whisper once passed invisibly, the wave now moves visibly. People will look at you and see testimony. You will become the living reminder that what God whispers, He fulfills. The transformation will not be subtle. It will be undeniable. Even those who doubted your journey will stand in silent awe. The same mouths that questioned your path will speak blessing over your life. Heaven's vindication is gentle but thorough. It corrects through elevation. But remember this truth. The fulfillment of prophecy is not an end. It is an assignment. The wave that carries you now will carry others through you. You were never chosen only to receive. You were chosen to release. The whisper was the seed, but the wave is the harvest. As the blessings flow, heaven will instruct you to pour them back into others. The moment you give, the flow multiplies. You are called to become a vessel through which the same mercy that saved you will now save others. Your story is the testimony someone else needs to believe again. Speak it boldly but humbly. Every word you share carries the breath of that original whisper. You are entering a season of supernatural clarity. Decisions that once confused you will suddenly make sense. Directions that once seemed uncertain will open in unmistakable precision. The wave of heaven is intelligent. It carries divine order. Everything will begin to fit as though time itself has rearranged to accommodate your calling. This is not luck. It is the whisper's fulfillment. The timing is exact because heaven never rushes, and it never fails. You are in perfect alignment now. You are walking in prophecy realized. Yet even now, heaven reminds you to remain anchored in humility. Power without gratitude becomes pride, and pride interrupts the flow. Keep your heart soft, your spirit listening, and your worship genuine. A whisper began in intimacy, and intimacy must remain its dwelling place. When heaven lifts you, it is not to place you above others but to position you to lift others higher. Remember that your influence exists for service, not status. The whisper may have elevated you, but only love will sustain you. This wave also carries generational implication. The freedom you walk in will not end with you. Your children, your family, and even those yet unborn will live beneath the covering of what heaven has accomplished through your obedience. You have altered the spiritual DNA of your lineage. The whisper redeemed what history tried to distort. You have become the turning point, a breaker of cycles, a carrier of restoration. Through you, heaven has rewritten an entire family story. Your yes was not small. It was eternal. Take this as confirmation. You are stepping into a year of divine reversal. Every delay, debt, and disappointment will reverse its direction. Loss becomes increase. Pain becomes platform. Confusion becomes clarity. At once code will open and at once drain will overflow. This is the rhythm of divine completion. The whisper that began as sound now moves as substance. What you heard in the spirit, you will now hold in your hands. Heaven's promises do not expire, they evolve. You will know this wave has fully arrived when peace becomes your default posture. No matter what unfolds externally, your spirit will rest in assurance. The whisper's ultimate purpose was not to give you things but to anchor you in trust. When you live from that place of trust, miracles become natural. Your life will be marked not by striving, but by flow. The same heaven that whispered your name will continually guide your steps. You will hear its voice not as command but as companionship. The whisper remains with you, not behind or above, but within. Beloved, this is your moment. The prophecy is complete. The sound that once shook heaven now reigns through you. Walk as one who knows the outcome, for the outcome is already written. You are heaven's echo on earth, a walking revelation of what happens when divine words find human agreement. Every breath you take now carries purpose, every heartbeat carries testimony. The whisper lives in you. The wave moves through you. The glory belongs to God alone. Type "I live in the fulfillment" in the comments if this message confirms your spirit. Blessing code 2222 has been activated. If this message has blessed you, take a moment to like, share, and comment your testimony below. Invite others into this divine movement. Subscribe and stay connected so you never miss the next release from heaven. Let your engagement become part of the wave that spreads light to others who are waiting for confirmation. Now hear this final invitation. When you give through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are sowing into the eternal harvest. Every offering becomes part of this mission to awaken souls and spread the sound of heaven across the earth. Your seed is not a donation. It is a declaration that you believe in the whisper that called you. As you give, I decree open heavens over your life. May divine provision locate you. May peace guard your home, and may favor follow your footsteps. You are not giving to a person. You are partnering with a prophecy. Heaven records every act of faith, and every act releases new waves of blessing. Give as led by the Spirit, for your obedience will echo long after this moment passes.